Everyone, welcome to this new episode of Learn IELTS Speaking with me. I am your host today, and we would be learning how to improve our IELTS speaking score. One thing I would like to clarify over here is that I am not a certified IELTS teacher or a coach, but rather I've made this video based on my own experience of IELTS speaking test and how I want to share how you can improve your IELTS speaking score and push your band from a 6 to a 7 or a 7.5. So in this video, we would be looking into some useful tips for IELTS speaking test as well as how to improve your answers using the examples. So we would be comparing two different answers, a band 6 answer, identifying what is the good thing about this answer and what are some areas of improvement, and applying those changes to create a band 7 or a 7.5 answer with further tips on how to push this answer to a band 8 level. So let's get started. Some useful tips. IELTS is not a test of your knowledge about a topic, rather, it is a test of your English speaking skills. So relax and be natural. If you don't know about a topic, you can talk about why you're not familiar with the topic. A lot of the time, IELTS candidates get too much bogged down into the details and want to display their knowledge of a topic that they forget that IELTS is not like any other examination. It's a language test that is built to test your English speaking abilities and not your knowledge of a certain topic. So, when you're in front of your examiner, instead of focusing on answering the topic, focus on using a diverse range of vocabulary to showcase your English speaking skills. So, don't worry if you don't know about a topic or have come across a difficult topic that you have never learned about before. Rather, tell your examiner why you are not familiar with the answer and what would you like to do to improve your knowledge about that topic. Don't stop talking unless the examiner tells you to. IELTS is a IELTS speaking is a time examination where you would be given a certain time to answer each question the examiner asks you. If you stop, oftentimes the examiner won't ask you to speak and this would impact your score negatively. So try to frame your answer in a way that you are able to complete the answer within the time frame that you have been given. If you feel like you've answered your question before the time's end, try to talk more about that topic or engage in a conversation thinking about what would you like to know more about that topic. Like I said earlier, it's not about your knowledge of a topic but rather your English speaking skills. So give the examiner enough time to judge your bandwidth of your English speaking so that they can evaluate your skills and correct banding. So let's get started. Now, we would use an example of a candidate who has appeared for an IELTS speaking test, and that would be we are gonna judge their level of the banding that they have currently, what is the good thing about the answer that they have given, and how they can improve it to a upper band. So, if the answer is currently a band 6 or a 6.5, we would identify what is the good things about that answer that makes it a band 6 answer and how we can further improve that answer to make it rank as a band 7 or a band 7.5 answer. So, let's begin. This is a candidate named Lucy who has appeared for an IELTS speaking test. An examiner asks the first question, "Tell me more about yourself." The candidate answers, "Hi, I am Lucy. I was born and raised in Newcastle, but later moved to London for higher studies, where I have been living since. I have done bachelor's in business administration and am planning to pursue masters in the same discipline." This is a very crisp and a concise answer on candidate parts. It does not go down into very personal details or too informal touch. So let's evaluate this answer. This answer is currently ranked at a band 6 or a 6.5 speaking level. The good things about this answer is that it is clear and concise. It follows a polite tone without being too informal or formal. So it is a correct balance between informality as well as formality. The answer is neither too casual nor very professional, but rather a very good conversation setting tone which clearly tells the background of the candidate, where they were born, where they were raised, what they have studied, and what they want to do in the future. It does not go into unnecessary personal details. So candidate is not talking about personal details that examiner might not be interested in and is not good to be shared on this platform. Another good thing about this answer is that it follows a logical flow. So you would observe that the candidate has introduced themselves using their name, where they were born, where they have studied, where they're currently living, what level of education do they have, and what are their future plans. So it follows a clear logical flow that tells the examiner a story and a crisp detail about what the candidate does and what they have done previously. Now, a few things in this answer that need further improvement are: the positioning of the word since is not appropriate. So, the candidate has mentioned that they have moved to London after they hire to pursue their higher education where they have been living since. Now, the use of the word since at the end of the sentence is not appropriate. It would have been better for Lucy to use the word in the middle of the sentence or either avoid the use of the word since. I'm not saying that the use of the word since is not useful in the sentence. In some cases, you would have to use the word, but it is better to identify what would be the correct positioning, which would, in most cases, be the middle of the sentence rather than towards the end. The candidate has also not used any advanced vocabulary, which isn't able to offer an examiner a better idea of their level. Use of at least 2 to 3 advanced words would have been nice. So, she could have talked about London, the diversity of the city, why she liked being in London, and could have used some advanced vocabulary which would have been very much useful for for the examiner to judge the skill of her English or her English speaking level. In addition to this, the sentence structure is also very simple. So, diversity in terms of complex sentence structure which has also improved the sentence score. Using a variety of sentences and a variety of vocabulary can offer examiner a good bandwidth to evaluate the candidate's speaking skills. It can also help to strengthen your response alongside framing it in a way that takes up the whole time assigned to you. Currently, the answer is clear and concise, but she would be able to complete this answer in 60 seconds or 120 seconds. But mostly in these kinds of questions, you are given between 3 to 5 minutes, and in order to complete your answer in 3 to 5 minutes, you need to have to a bit more to talk about. So she could have gone into the details of either her degree, of what she has studied, why she chose to study business administration, or she could have talked about why she chose to study in London, or what does she currently love about London that she has been living her ever since she has completed her bachelor's degree. Another thing is the lack of fluency in this answer. She could have used expanding phrases to improve fluency even further. So she could have said, what I love about London is, on top of that, I would like to study another language course as well. So I've studied and prepared for IELTS and things like this. This would have improved to strengthen her answer even more. So now let's see how she could have improved her answer to a band 7 or a 7.5. So, examiner, tell me more about yourself. Hi, I am Lucy. However, I prefer to be addressed as Lou. It's sweet and short. I was born in Newcastle, where I spent my developmental years. 4 years ago, I moved to London to pursue bachelor's degree in business administration, and now I am planning to specialize in the same discipline, aiming for a master's level qualification. London has always been a second home to me. I adore the city because of its vibrance, diversity, and obviously the plethora of career development opportunities. This is a very solid answer on Lucy's part. It is not very concise or way too long that goes into unnecessary details about Lucy's personal life. Rather, she has followed a logical structure, talking about who she is, how she likes to be preferred. It offers a personality or a personal touch to the answer. And she also tells why she preferred to be called Lou, because it's a very short and sweet way to address her. She has mentioned where she was born and where she has spent her developmental years, why she moved to London 4 years ago, what she has studied, and what she is planning to do in the future. Again, she then goes into details of why she likes London, while she because of its diversity and because of the career development opportunities that are offered by the city. So let's dig into what is good about this answer and how this one could be further improved and pushed to a band 8A answer. So this answer is currently standing between band 7 to 7.5. The things that are good about this answer is the use of a varied and appropriate vocabulary. So, Lucy has used the words like developmental years, specialize, vibrance, and plethora of career development opportunities. Especially the use of plethora and vibrance has been very useful because it not only shows the range, but it's also not overly used advanced word in English language. So it's good for natural speech. So it's not like a flowery or a very fancy word usually used in novels or poetry, but rather plethora and vibrance can be used in normal conversation but are not very overly used advanced words. So it is very useful for the natural speech. She has also used complex sentences in a better way. Like, for example, I've moved to London. I was born in Newcastle, where I spent my developmental years, offering a good complex sentence structure, not a very simple. But that is not the only place where Lucy has used complex sentence structure. She has used a variety of structures which offers examiner a better idea to analyze and judge her speaking abilities. She has also added a personal reflection to her answer, which is the use of words. I prefer to be called Lou because it's short and sweet. I adore the city because of its vibrance as well as the diversity, which adds personality to her answer and boosts fluency perception on part of the examiner. This is a very solid answer. However, it could be improved further to push it to a band 8 level. So, for for it to be a band 8A, intonations could have been used for emphasis and ideas could be linked with connectors like since then on top of what I love the most is to further improve the answer. For example, Lucy could have said, on top of that, I would also like to learn IELTS better. Or, what I love the most about London is its diversity and vibrance. Use of these things could have further improved her answer and would have pushed it to a band 8A. So, what you can do is you can take the band 7 answer and use this feedback and further tips to improve it to a band 8 to craft your own response, and don't forget to leave those responses in the comment section and discuss among yourself whether you are able to improve it to a band 8 or not. You can even further push it to a band 9, but it would be better to begin slowly on each step. So we have improved the answer from a band 7 from a band 6 to a band 7, and now it is your task to improve it to a band 8. Thank you very much. Follow for more such content and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.